I got to go to other countries and such. So, it was good.
So you knew when, there's all sorts of different levels of tournaments out there. When the NAL came along, you said, okay, I'm going to focus solely on the NAL. I'm not going to worry about any of the other small stuff. And if this NAL thing works out, perfect. If it don't, it don't. You kind of knew that plan going in.
I kind of knew that. The NAL was, the guy who came up with the NAL was a genius. And I bet you he's one of the most respected, most revered people in the sport today. I would be my guess. Not being in it, I can only vouch. But I bet the inventor of the NAL was like Henry Kissinger of arm wrestling. You know what I'm saying? He probably goes places and people go, please shed your opinion on this subject. Oh, great one. I bet it's like Ronald Reagan walking into a room. See, look at that. You got a little fish bounce on your pole again.
So do I grab it again?
Nah, we got fooled once.
Okay.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me again and I'm an idiot or something. I don't know. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. It's a little fish.
How did you find out the NAL was canceled?
I believe I found out like everybody else did. I think it was a posting on the message board, or maybe Travis called us. Or I don't know. I can't remember.
Call.
He didn't? I can't remember. I knew. I definitely knew when I showed up out there. There's a big bodybuilding convention going on, and there was no weigh-ins.
Did you go to it? The convention?
No. I went and I took the boys to Circus and stuff happened. See, if the NAL was going on today, there'd be a bailout program for it, arm wrestling bailout. There'd be a stimulus package. We would all the unionized arm wrestlers would all get their job, get their health care, would be put on the board of directors, and it would be a lot. See, the guy who invented the NAL was a visionary. He was just before his time, like Ted Nugent was. He was just too far ahead of his time.
We
were in Vegas.
The hard work you put
No, I just didn't know what was next. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what. There wasn't a way to. You want to do something great. Everybody in their life wants to do something in their life that gets carved in marble somewhere. All right. In the NAL, I didn't know where else to go. All right. Look, I was lucky enough to get single wins over great people. Chances were, I could have spent the next 7 years and maybe gotten another win over half of them, or not. You know what I'm saying? I was on a very, very high spot, but I didn't know where else to go. And there didn't, back then, the arm wrestling unions didn't have counseling, and then they didn't have social workers to walk you through this kind of stuff. So you're kind of, you're in a, not shell shock, but, you need counseling to come out of it, because you got this mindset, and then you're kind of feeling like, I don't know what to do next,
So if there was never an NAL, would you probably still be an arm wrestler, you think?
Probably not this late, to be honest. I probably would have quit in the following 2 years anyways. Because, I was, at the time, look, I only wanted to beat Sevan's boys, all right? That was going to be my goal. All right, and then it was all the people on his original website, right? Except for the guy out of Louisiana, that little skinny guy, and that big Russian. Come on, all right? At least the Americans. And Travis, I was hurt at the time, and I probably couldn't have beat him anyways, so.
Because you got so good, did you not want to be just average? Like if you continued on, John Brzenk. Like at some point, John Brzenk's not going to be able to be John Brzenk. At one point in his life, he's going to. Come back down to normal. So
it will be interesting
to continue arm wrestling.
I don't.
You walked away, but
I walked away, but that was the path that was right for me.
Was it because you don't want to go to a tournament and lose and just be average?
I wasn't worried about losing so much, because I lose a lot. I've lost far more than I've won. My win-loss record is obviously negative. I guess It's like going back to your point where there should be levels and elites. It's pretty cool being in that top tier arm wrestling. It's really cool going to a tournament and having people come up and ask you. It's really cool having beginners call you up on the phone and ask you for advice and come. And it's really cool when you go to your practice on Wednesday and you have 10 or 15 people show up you don't know, but they all showed up, partly because you're there. All right, and it's the glory is intoxicating, it just really is, and letting that go would suck, and it does, but losing, I'm not so, look, John Brzezinski showed everybody how to be a class arm wrestler. John Brzezinski loses to people who aren't at his tier, and he's still him, but I was never John Brzezinski, so I was never that good of a person. I was, there's probably John Brzezinski, then there's people, then there's trolls, and there's slugs, and then I was probably down there with the creepy crawly things in the muck, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't nice. I wasn't a nice person, but...
Somebody asked on the message board, they want to know, do you know how good the wobbly has gotten since you left?
He should be good. It's been 3 years. Yeah. Look, you spend 5-6 years in the sport, you should be good. You should. 5 or 6 years is enough time, especially because he was young enough. Look, you spend 5-6 years in the sport, and if you're over 22 and you spend 5 years in the sport, my God, you should be up there. You should be as good as the Russians. You should be that good. 5 dedicated years in the sport. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't. It shouldn't be. You should get to the point where state tournaments, nationals, that kind of isn't even a question in your mind anymore. You should be looking to be pulling outside your weight class in 5 or 6 years. I fully expect him to be good. He was good back when I knew him. I never met him, but he was back.
You've never met Rob Vigin?
I don't think so. I don't think I ever met him.
Okay, we were talking off camera about give me the wobbly. How did the wobbly thing come to be?
It was
something about a Canadian puller you didn't know.
There was I can't remember his name, and he's famous, and this is where I bust everybody's. If you told me his name, I'd remember. But he's a really good. I'm in JV. All I knew is I didn't want to pull the other 2 guys, so I picked what I thought was the weakest person out of the 4 of us. And made fun of him. Hopefully, I get matched up with him.
Well, wait, you said something about you purposely were spicing it up a bit to try to make.
I wanted to make it a vendetta vengeance thing between him and me, such that we would get each other in the first round. And so then.
Because you didn't want to pull the Canadian guy.
No, I didn't want to pull the best guy. Because the Canadian guy. And he has a brother that pulls too, and it really drives me nuts not remembering what his name is. Perron.
Sevan Perron.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Because he has a brother. Sorry about that, Sevan. Okay, so on the message board, you were purposely being
an ass.
But it was all a sham?
Well, I'm sure nowadays arm wrestling's a lot more like tennis or golf, where everybody's cordial and gentlemanly and stuff. But back then, it seemed like everybody was copying big time wrestling, hyping, trash talking, that kind of stuff. All right, so back then, that was kind of how you did things.
So it wasn't Todd Hutchings being a jerk. It's Todd Hutchings.
Well, it's Todd Hutchings being a jerk, but on purpose.
On purpose, because
usually I'm not a jerk until I know you. Not usually to strangers.
Yeah, but you wanted Travis to sense that there was something back and forth. Because how did Rob Vigin react? I don't remember. Was there banter back and forth between them?
I think in the end he agreed to be paired up with me first. I believe. If not, then I lost. Then, I think I won that part of it, but I'll be honest.
So you came up with where'd you come up with this wobbly comment?
Because when you watch the Nature Channel, look, most of us that went to public schools, we saw the Wildebeest movie, where all these wildebeest run across Africa, right? And out of the 500,000 wildebeest that run across the continent, 490,000 make it. Of those 490,000, you see like 3 of them. But of all the ones that die, you see every one of them. Well, when the alligators and the jackals and everybody else starts attacking the wildebeest, they always go after the one that's like walking in a circle, hobbling around, you know, wobbly.
Was it easy to walk away?
No, it was. I still don't. Like I told you, I've never seen the Mohegan Sun show, even though it's been on TV, and I haven't watched any arm wrestling. We did that one tournament for that one fundraising tournament for that high school kid who got hurt, but other than that, I can't. I still can't watch it because it's, you know, it pulls at you.
So your wife saw it on television, and she
Yeah, my wife saw the whole thing.
And she called you, and you.
I walked in and I saw Ron Bath up there whooping on somebody, and I can't remember who it was. It wasn't John, but it was somebody else, or some big guy.
Jerry Cataract?
That might have been it. In a hook match, if I remember right.
And you couldn't.
I'd been in a hook match with Ron the week before. I couldn't watch Ron beat everybody hooking in Connecticut. You know what I mean?